First of all, I'm here, as was said, for the Haldane Society of Socialist Lawyers. We have been supporting the Justice for Aafia campaign since we were first contacted by Mariam about 3 years ago, and it is clear to us that Aafia's case raises very serious questions that need to be investigated. And we have 5 demands or points, whatever you want to call them. The first is for an investigation into the circumstances of Aafia's 5-year disappearance, when we've had testimony from inmates at Bagram, such as Binyan Mohammed, who were clear that they were aware of the presence of a woman for 5 years in Bagram prison, that they were aware that that woman was being tortured because they could hear her screams, and Binyan Mohammed says firmly that he believes that that woman is Aafia. So we believe that there should be an investigation into that 5-year disappearance and into the allegations that Aafia was tortured, because of course if she was tortured, then that profoundly affects what then happened to her at her trial. And that is the second point. We believe that there should be an investigation, an urgent appeal into the circumstances of her trial and of her conviction. You're all familiar with Aafia's case, that's why you're here. And you will share our incredulity that a woman can be accused of trying to murder burly American soldiers by seizing their gun, in circumstances when you'd have thought those soldiers would be able to seize the gun back from her pretty quickly indeed. And we read that no fingerprints were found on the gun. We question that conviction, and we question the fact that surrounding her trial and surrounding her conviction, the American media were full of her being supposedly called Lady Al-Qaeda. We question her sentence. An 86-year sentence is horrific. In law, it's sort of meaningless. Why not give somebody a life sentence? An 86-year sentence for anybody who's already an adult is a life sentence. We believe that a sentence of that length is barbaric, whatever the circumstances, whatever the crime somebody is convicted of, and we don't believe that this crime of attempted murder normally carries that degree of sentence. Again, we believe that that is a reflection of what the Americans really believed about her, that she was a terrorist and involved in Al-Qaeda. But they never said that. That was not the conviction, that was not the trial, but all the circumstances of the conviction and of the sentence show that that's really what they had in mind. We also believe that there should be an investigation into the disappearance of her youngest son, Suleiman, who I believe would be 11 years old if he were around today. It is shocking and disturbing where she is in her home country. So those are our 5 demands. We agree with Carol and with Bruce, and no doubt with other speakers who are going to speak later on, that it seems to us that Aafia is one of the many thousands of victims of the US and UK government's war on terror. Victims who've been detained in Bagram, victims who've been detained in Guantanamo, without charge, without trial, without any conviction, but still detained. Victims who have been detained in this country, as Bruce said, without charge, without trial, and without being convicted of any criminal offence. And I would add 2 more names to the long, long list. Those are Bradley Manning, whistleblower to WikiLeaks, who seems to be kept in solitary confinement at the moment, and probably you're less familiar with this, but please go home and look up this case on the internet. New York lawyer Lynn Stewart, who was very rapidly after 9/11 then arrested for the crime of representing her clients, and she was accused of being responsible for the crimes that her clients were accused of, and that is not right. That is an interference with the right of everybody to have a lawyer standing up for them and representing them fearlessly, and lawyer Lynn Stewart is still in jail in America. We do call for justice for Aafia, and we are very clear that what has happened to Aafia is not justice, because you cannot have justice without due process, you cannot have justice without the rule of law, and none of those things happened in Aafia's case. None of those things happen in the case of the other victims of the war on terror that have been mentioned. And so we call for investigations into those 5 points. We call for an end to the war on terror, and we call for very clear due process and the rule of law throughout the world. Thank you very much for inviting us. Congratulations on coming together today. It's a wintry day. There aren't that many of us, but this is a campaign that is in for the long haul. You've already been campaigning for over 3 years. Congratulations on that, and we will stand with you for as long as it takes. Thank you.